Here we have a used 2015 Infiniti Q50S. The S, of course, stands for Sport. Comes in graphite shadow, and then we have the graphite leather interior. Powertrain consists of a 3.7 liter V6, made it to a 7-speed automatic transmission. That gets us 328 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. Now, as we come around to the front end here, we do get our LED headlamps along with the LED fog lights, and just a beautiful front fascia here. Ever since these came out, I think it was 2014, these have been one of my favorite cars, especially in the hybrid trim. They're just really cool and pretty quick. And down here we get these 19-inch alloy wheels, which look fantastic. It's another favorite of mine for this car. Passive keyless entry on the front. Memory seat functions. We have the power mirror controls, power door locks, power windows there. All are one-touch automatic up and down. The trim and everything still looks immaculate. We do have a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel, trunk release, traction control, hood release, and then we do have that foot pedal right there. But here's the power driver seat, two-way power lumbar support, and just a lot of controls for you to adjust that seat to make it right. We also have the manual thigh support as well. Now I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. But a big shout out to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this car today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And we'll check out the rear seat room momentarily. Now this one has that deluxe touring package as well as the navigation package. Hopefully you heard all that over the wind. Let's check out this space. So not fantastic, but not awful either. Headroom, my head's not touching the ceiling, but I got about half an inch or so between the top of my head and the roof line there. Seat back pockets are on both sides. Rear AC vents. And there's a view of the front from back here. Fold this down. Bottle holders are in there. And then you have access to the trunk from here as well. Grab handles here. We could probably hang a plastic hanger there with a shirt or something if we wanted to. Just gotta squeeze my feet out of here. And the child lock is right here. Unlock, lock there. Now as we come around the back end here, something else I love about this car, we have the LED stop lights. We hit the brakes. Nice big tips there. And then the trunk space there. Sheesh, that wind. And then we can pull this if we want to fold down the seat in the back. So I'm assuming there's an inflator kit or something here. I'm not going to fool with it too much. Those hydraulics on there on their last leg, but gas cap. And then we can fold this seat down. We're supposed to be able to fold this seat down. I guess that other one didn't release all the way, but here you can see the seat will fold down. Anchors are there. Pretty easy to lock it back into place, and then the tether's up there, excuse me, and then your anchors are right in here. Now this does have almost 83,000 miles on it, and it's about 10 years old, so it's not going to be in perfect shape, but it is in pretty good shape, I think. Lockable glove compartment, owner's manuals are still here. And this stickered for right under 50 grand. It's like 49 and some change. Now I'm gonna see if I can look at the engine bay before I get another huge gust. But there's that 3.7 liter V6. And these hydraulics on this hood also seem like they're about done. Let's hop in here real quick. I will say the pinstriping is held up pretty nicely here. All right, so we're out of the wind noise here. Leather wrap steering wheel. Seems to be in pretty good shape, honestly. There's the horn there. Now, over here to the screen, I think this is one of the coolest things about these cars is having these two screens here. This is always when these first came out, I thought it was one of the coolest things about them. You had your nav up here, you can control a lot of your options down here, but navigation screen is here. And although this is touchscreen, you still had all of your other things that were touchscreen down here. So you could scroll through the apps and all of that. Audio, you do get FM, XM, AM, CD player, iPod, then you have the Bluetooth audio. And then we have our dual zone automatic climate controls here. But volume knobs here, up, down, click to mute if you want to do that. Go through your sources, you have that aux as well. And then your heated seat button was right here. You had your hazards right in there. 12 volt, it's kind of an ashtray there. And then for the shifter, grab the lever here, reverse, neutral drive. You can manually shift there or using these paddle shifters, which look fantastic behind the steering wheel. Now here you could find points of interest, type in your street address. I'm trying to find way to brighten the screen. I know there's a way to do it, I just can't think of it right now. And the climate controls are being finicky as well. There it is. But settings, go in here. If you want to change your meter, you can do that, as well as your language. Now this is a pretty cumbersome screen. It looks great, but you have all these apps and whatever here, and the stuff loads and takes time. But I mean, it doesn't bother me that much just because it looks so good. All your performance stuff is right in here. It's pretty neat. It's interesting to think that this could actually keep up with it being a 15 model with all the stuff that it has on here. But backup camera, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. You have that bird's eye view as well. And then you can use this knob. Then you have a bunch of buttons here, and this is your front camera that you can toggle again from that button down below. Center console cubby space, you have two 12 volts, two USB-A ports, an SD card reader for the nav, then an audio in and a video in port in there. Garage door transmitter, sunglasses holder, power moonroof. That's how far back it goes, one touch. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. Vanity mirror. Now back to the steering wheel. Headlamp controls are here with the fog lights, high beams, flash, blinkers. And then we have automatic wipes here. So one time off, auto, low, high. You can adjust your auto frequency here and then pull up for that front wiper fluid. Now we can go through our trackless radio station presets using this knob here. And then we can also use it kind of as a cursor for what's on the screen here. And then volume can be adjusted here, back button, voice recognition, Bluetooth button. And then over here, just standard cruise, set the speed, cancel. And we can use this to go through our sub-menus here in the digital part of the gauge cluster. So tire pressure monitors, and all of that are in there. Now we do have that Bose sound system. I think it's 13 speakers. Push button starts here. And then we do have our key fob. But now to what I'm most interested in, let's go ahead and take this 2015 with 82,317 miles. Q50 Sport out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Q50, pretty quick, just a little bit of hesitation getting started here. We are in the sport mode. I'm gonna put the steering wheel down a little bit so I can see, put it in the manual mode, and we're gonna see how it actually shifts there. So the shifts are pretty quick when you use the paddle shifters, and it does make it much more fun. I will say it does give me like Maxima vibes. Now, of course, it has that big V6, but with this one not having a CVT, it does feel more traditional. And even though it only has 269 pound-feet of torque, you get that feeling of pull as you get up in the RPMs there. We're gonna come out of here and give it something. And again, it's a quick car. Just as it's gotten older, again with almost 83,000 miles, it's not as flawless as I'm sure it was brand new. Now overall, in terms of the ride quality, it does, now this is a rough stretch of road, and it's choppy as it is, but especially with these thinner tires and then having these 19-inch alloy wheels, you're feeling the road and you're hearing it a bit. Not anything that's overly bothersome, but it is there. Now this Sport Tune suspension is actually very good in terms of just the driving aspect here. I feel like this is a fun car to drive. The suspension is comfortable yet sporty, if that makes sense. Now with it being on the stiffer side, it does make you kind of want to put your foot into it a lot more. And I'm gonna say the premium, the Q50 Premium as opposed to this Sport here, is probably a bit more plush on the inside as well as the ride quality. But I do love the more sportier suspension. Now this car this one in particular has a deluxe technology in that navigation package, but there was an option, I don't know if it was a driver assist or something along those lines, but that gave you I believe the blind spot monitors. I know it gave you the adaptive cruise and the lane keeping system. It wasn't a lane centering, but it was pretty ahead of its time, I think. In 2014, 2015 when these came out, it was just crazy to have that kind of tech in a vehicle, let alone an Infiniti. I mean, you'd expect that there, but I mean, I don't know if anybody else really had it out to that level other than like Lexus, Mercedes. But the car's been in sport mode this entire time, and I will say I like that it doesn't just keep the revs high. It drives normally. It just, the throttle response is better. But we're gonna go ahead and give it some throttle here. I'm going to use the paddles. Wow. Yeah, this thing is wow. So I got a little burnout there. I've taken that ramp so many times. I've never done that. So wow. Yeah, this thing is quick. And again, it's fun too. I was not expecting. Yeah, that was awesome. I've driven a, I think it was an 18 Q50, was the Red Sport 400. Now that was nasty quick, but it's crazy that this stock 3.7 V6 gets up like that. Very impressed. And what makes this car so impressive is the 7-speed automatic, just having that ability to manually shift at your fingertips. It's an all-around good car. I think you're able to get close to 30 miles per gallon with these. Maybe we'll see on here the average. Well, that's not correct. But it's very impressive for what it is. It is a luxury car, and I mean, these are bringing, again, 50 grand sticker prices, a little higher depending on how you equipped them, but still, I mean, it's impressed me, especially with it being older, having some miles on it, not being in the shape that it was when it was brand new, and still pulling like it is, still being as comfortable as it is, still driving as it is. I can't be mad at that, definitely. Now, as we get on the interstate here and I'm driving down the road, I can feel in the foot, I can feel in the gas pedal, the road, but ride quality is very good. And again, with the Sport Tune suspension, it's still stiff, but it's actually kind of smooth too. And wind noise as the wind picks up here, just a little intrusive, but I mean, the gusts are like 40 miles an hour, so nothing that I'd be used to. So I'm sure the cabin acoustics in here are pretty good. But I think still a good car used, and it definitely still has the power, I'll give it that. And this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2015 Infiniti Q50 Sport.